Atop the branches of Yggdrasil, Asgard was barely visible, swallowed as it was by black storm clouds. Lightning flickered within the roiling mass like a thumping heart beating to an impossible rhythm. Possessed as Thor was, he spared no mercy for his home nor the people within. Susanoo lowered his head and climbed the multicolored Bifrost road that wound to the gates of Asgard. He found the wide wooden doors open, silent. Icicles hung like spears from ramparts and gutters. Snow gathered heavy across rooftops and alleys. Where citizenry should have been, heavy clouds crowded the streets. A lone shape stood shadowed in that darkness, feet wide, hammer gripped tight. Thor. "Come," said the god of thunder in a voice that was not his own. "Mjolnir will give you a kiss and take your teeth in the parting." "This is bloody business." Susanoo slowly pulled his heavy blade free. It scraped like the moving of mountains. "Shall we get to it then?" Thor hurled his hammer, crackling with lightning. Susanoo dove aside. Mjolnir smashed through the wooden wall where Susanoo once stood before hurtling back to its owner. Twice more the hammer came, and twice more Susanoo leapt for cover. But Thor's weapon tore through wood and stone like boar through brush. Susanoo was cornered. "Face me," Thor bellowed. "You hide like a craven." Slowly, Susanoo rose. This time he would not be able to avoid the hammer. Their eyes met. Mjolnir whirled. Thor's malicious grin spread while Mjolnir crackled and spun. Susanoo recalled the wind blowing through a cherry blossom's spindly branches, casting her delicate petals to dance. It reminded him of his sister. This was the end. Time slowed. Susanoo watched Thor rear to throw. In that moment, from behind the thunder god, Tyr emerged from clouded obscurity and clamped his iron fist around Thor's thick arm. "Awake, Odin's son," Tyr bellowed, and hurled his prince backward. Thor smashed through wooden walls and vanished from sight. Time sped back up. Susanoo moved at once. "Tyr, we must find Hel if we are to stop Thor's madness. She controls a swarm of darkness that has stolen his mind." Tyr shook his head. "As soon as this foulness began, I concluded the same and imprisoned her. This power comes not from Hel." Lightning clawed and chewed at the wreckage where Thor was thrown. Tyr's heavy breath froze in the air. Odinson returns. Susanoo clutched tight his sword. "Alone we cannot defeat him." Tyr agreed. Thor burst upward, sheathed in furious lightning, splintering and shattering structures around his ascent, scattering shrapnel. "I am the god of thunder," he roared. Tyr leapt, snatched Thor's ankle, and hauled him back to the ground. Susanoo's blade swept in a flurry that sparked across Mjolnir as Thor defended. Tyr withstood a fierce punch from the thunder god before wrapping his great arms around Thor's waist and slamming him to the snow. Susanoo knelt upon the prone god, sword to throat, while Tyr's iron hand wrestled Thor's wrist, trapping Mjolnir. Thor strained against his captors. "Awake, Odin's son," Tyr pleaded through clenched teeth. The screeching swarm converged. Thor's eyes cleared and he ceased struggling, finally free of the dark influence. Susanoo rose to meet the descending cloud of flying beasts that had consumed the minds of gods from east to west. A final battle against himself. "No," urged Thor, "it will take you." But Susanoo was resolute. Down they came, swooping and swirling, closing in, choking all sight. Snowy Asgard disappeared. Susanoo waited to be transported. Bleak, empty, and devoid, Susanoo was again in the colorless realm. Instinctively he raised his blade, blocking an attack from his doppelganger. "You are reckless, Susanoo," the other him crowed. They pushed against each other, blades locked, scraping in the silence, spraying white-hot sparks. Susanoo grunted, leaning against his blade. Once, but no longer. "Look at the devastation you have wrought pursuing me," his clone sneered. "It is no different than before when you shamed your sister, when your father sent you away." Without vanity, Susanoo thought. For that I have atoned. And what of the crimes since then? What of the failures you've yet to commit? "They are mine to make," Susanoo declared, "but I will no longer be bound by guilt. I know who I am." Susanoo heaved, and his doppelganger went sprawling into the mud. "Who are you?" Throwing back its head, the clone belted out laughter as it tore apart into thousands of winged beasts. "You want to know who I am?"